All right, Henry wants to be able to get his RV between the house, the corner of the house, and his neighbor's property. So it makes it real tough with the roof hanging over. So we're gonna trim the roof back. If you look there, I popped the line where we're gonna trim it back. Okay, this is just one way to do this job. There are many ways to do it. This is just my way. So what we're going to do is trim off a corner of this overhang so we can get the RV between the house and the neighbor's property without driving on his grass. So we're just going to take a corner off. And because I don't have anybody else doing this video for me, I'm doing everything. I don't have footage of me actually doing the work. It's all just photos and videos in between steps. All right, the first thing I got to do here is to remove the shingles from the area that I'm going to run the skill saw down, and also where I'm going to need to tie the shingles back in. So the important thing is to get there early in the morning while it's still cool, and you can pop these shingles loose without tearing them. So when you install the shingles back into place, you won't have torn up shingles, and you can slide them right back into position and add cement to hold them down. So in this procedure, you have to go up 2 rows from the row that you want to remove in order to get it free to pull out. So you have to pull out nails from the shingle you're trying to remove and the shingle above the shingle you're trying to remove. So the pry bar, you pry and separate the shingles to gain access to the nail to pull it out without tearing the shingle. And then when you remove every nail, then the shingle will slide out. In this case, I gently removed the shingles from the drip edge or the edge metal, which is cemented down. It's important not to tear up the shingles so you can reuse them, unless you are buying new shingles. In the event that you do that, it will look like a patch. When you reuse the older shingles, it will not look like a patch. That's really important if you're going to be able to see from the ground. Here's another shot with a few more shingles removed. All right, got the shingles removed. Now we're going to remove the drip edge, the edge metal. And this is the perspective from the street. Remove the drip edge now. Remove the 1x2 strip below the drip edge and the fascia board. Cut the sub fascia board. Now pull the nails out of the decking and remove the dry end peel and stick. It's definitely sticky. Now we got to remove the sub fascia. Cut the decking. Remove the leading edge 1x2 fascia board and 1x2 trim fascia board and sub fascia. And then the last will be the soffit, then the rafter tails, the truss ends. All right, I removed the fascia board. I cut the 1x2 behind the drip edge back further, and then the fascia board about 6 inches or so from that, and then the rafter tail. It's right there where those 2 nails are. So I cut a little bit on the conservative side so I can recut that later if need be. So I pulled out cat's paw. I pulled out the nails for the sub fascia. So now I'm going to remove the sub fascia, expose the rafter and the attic. Okay, due to the location of our truss where it ends, we need our subfascia to end here at this. So we're going to readjust the decking cut to line up. This is our previous guess here. So it comes past this truss too far. So we're going to move it back toward the truss to where our subfascia can, our new subfascia gets here, and the decking will end here, and then we'll have a continuous strengthening point anchor for everything. So I pulled, there was some nails in the decking nailed to the subfascia, so I had to pull those out. So I figured I might as well cut the decking. That'll give me more access to the back of the subfascia to remove it, and I can cut the decking on top too to expose the attic. All right, now I cut the decking, so now I can remove it to expose the rafter ends, the truss end, to cut those. Got to cut the remainder of the plywood, but I have to be careful to change the depth of my saw cut because I cut it thicker for this first board was thicker than the plywood. There's an electrical outlet over here, or electrical light. There's a light, so I got to be careful I don't cut any wires. Okay, now that I can look into the attic, I can see the wiring, which is got plenty of clearance. It's not up against the roof deck. So I can now, I already adjusted my blade thickness to the plywood. So now I can continue to cut the decking loose. All right, I got the subfascia off to expose the truss ends. I disconnected the light, and now I have to cut the soffit. The decking is cut and removed. There you go, decking is cut and removed. So now I need to cut the soffit, which is the funnest part. And cut the rafter tails. And it's time to rebuild. Once that is all cut off, we can see the angle that we're going to utilize there to get more clearance to get by the house. All right, I got the trusses cut and the soffit cut, and I notched out the soffit for the light to be rewired. So now we're ready to put the subfascia on, and then the fascia board, then the 1x2, and then the drip edge, and then we'll be ready to roof it. All right, we got it trimmed and the subfascia put on. Now we got to put on the fascia board. I had to trim a little bit more back because it wasn't back far enough, so I went ahead and did another cut. Trimmed the soffit again, trimmed the decking, the trusses, everything to get it back nice. So now we're ready for the fascia board and then the 1x2. All right, getting the fascia on. I got the fascia on here, and then the 1x2 trim. And then I actually put on a little small section of drip edge for that, what we would call a little beveled corner, going to the corner to go up the rake. It's gonna be a piece party over here. All right, the fascia board is up. 1x2 is up. Now I gotta hang the drip edge and shingle it. All right, all done. I pieced in the fascia there. That's normally not a good thing, but it's my brother's house, and you're just gonna caulk it up and piece drip edge too. So I'm not proud of all that, but it's done. Ran the electrical out the soffit here. It's all done. Looks beautiful. Here's my disclaimer. I'm not a professional builder or carpenter. I'm a professional roofer. Thanks for watching.